lead singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music.
The Justin Moore Podcast is sponsored by Bobcat. Visit them at bobcat.com. Rock and roll.
All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's show here on the Justin Moore Podcast. This is Season 4, Episode 9. I'm JR the Handler. Glad to be with y'all today. As always, is the namesake of this podcast, the one and only Justin Moore. What's going on, brother?
What's up, buddy? I'm tired. I'm up, barely.
Old Paw. Been plowing a lot of fields lately, Paw.
I'm telling you, this getting up early for this radio show is kicking my tail, buddy. But I have been going in a little late. Well, not even going in. This week I haven't been in at all. I've been doing it from the house, which makes it a little easier. Get to sleep a little later. Plus, I've started, rather than at 6, I've started at 7:30. So they're working with me, thankfully. And so it's been busy, obviously, with all that. NCAA tournament, which we'll get into. Obviously, Arkansas went on a pretty good run, back-to-back Elite Eights now. We'll talk recruiting, and I know you guys have a really good class coming in, as do we, and Final Four coming up here in a few days, which I don't really care about anymore since we're not in it. But it is a really good lineup of teams, and so.
You mean you're not clearing the schedule so we can go watch one of these games, Just?
Negative.
Negative. Yeah, I'm with.
Which I've got a good story pertaining to that.
Yeah, and and I was sure.
Errant Church.
All right. Well, I guess we definitely got to touch on that. But I was sure hoping you guys would have got. You just a couple minutes there didn't play up to par, and that was really it. Just about a 5-minute stretch.
Yeah, I mean, man, we got beat by a better team.
Yeah.
I mean, Duke had better players. They had the faster horses, and they played well. I mean, you got to give them credit. I mean,
they're good.
It wasn't the officiating. It really wasn't what we didn't do. It was what they did. I mean, they were just a better team.
Yeah.
But we got some help coming in, man. We have the number 2 recruiting class in the country. 3 5-stars, 3 4-stars. We just picked up a transfer, really good transfer portal guy, and so. Everybody's saying, which is crazy, that we're probably going to be ranked number 1 preseason next year, which is crazy. So we'll see if that comes to fruition.
We'll dig into that some more. It's just going to be you and I today. We got some great guests lined up for the next couple of weeks.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so it's just going to be me and JM today chopping it up. We're going to talk about that. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about, really, because we weren't with you guys, and we're sorry to get this one out late. We've been working this week already, which we'll talk about where we just came from, the benefit show we just did, our show with Playing with the King and the Kid the other week in Little Rock. We got to work with the one and only George Strait. Definitely got to talk about that. And all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a fun show today. But, talking about being tired, Just, I'd never know it because I catch y'all on the 9 a.m. hour, and that's already your hour 3 or 4 by the time I listen in, and you're just chopping it up with them. You put on a good face. And I know you, though. You're so competitive, though. You wouldn't let nobody know if you were tired. You'd sit over and pinch a hole in your leg to stay awake to make sure you can take care of business.
Yeah, no, it's wild, man. In my studio here, my office, I'll get so tired during the breaks, I'll literally just lay down in the floor, and I'll hear the stuff, the bumper music coming back in, and I'm like, all right,
Oh my God!
And I'll struggle through it. You got to do it. You remember that hunt we went on a couple?
Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah.
And we did it for a TV show, and JR was with me, and he said, man, I'd go, how much time we got before I've got to do this or do that? He'd be like, buddy, you only got like 15 minutes. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go take a nap on the bus real quick. Wake me up.
Fully clothed in camo.
You're like, what? And I was that exhausted. And I would literally go and lay down for like 9 minutes. And you'd be like, all right, buddy, we got to go. And next time it'd be like, how much time we got? Man, you got like 18 minutes. I'm like, wake me up like 13 minutes from now. And it was like instant. It was like, what is it, narcolepsy? When
Yeah,
you can
where you
just,
just
you just
fa- where you
go
just-
out.
Yeah. Like that, that movie. Hey, you know that's funny, and you did. You absolutely. But I mean,
Remember,
when you
I,
just,
I really did.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was that
100%.
tired.
When you're that tired,
That's the way I
100%.
feel right now.
Yeah.
Over the last week or two, I'm just like,
Just
every
at
time
any
I
moment
find
you could just fall asleep.
any moment where I can find to like just relax, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna take advantage of this, and I just sleep like for like 15 minutes at a time.
That is, I remember back in the day when we were on radio tour, and I wasn't with you, but when I was with John on radio tour, same thing, man. You'll lay down in an airport somewhere and just lay on the floor and sleep for
Best sleep you've ever had.
ever. It just but nothing, just lay on the floor directly on some damn dirt.
Yeah.
But I remember one time somewhere, yeah, he was like, man, I got to take a nap. I'm like, we can't, we got to go. Like right now, it's time to go. He's like, I just got to lay down for 5 minutes. I'm like, you don't have time. No way. What's 5 minutes going to do? He's like, I just have to. I'm like, all right, whatever. I just, then I'm just like, all right, it just ain't going to happen because he's about to go to sleep for an hour because I knew he was tired too. I was like, we just got to get in the car. He said, I just got to lay down 5 minutes. So he laid down. And I'm like, this not going to happen. He ain't going to get up. This is going to suck and this and that. So 5 minutes later, I kind of cracked the door. And I look, and I guess he heard the door crack. He jumped up on the bed. It was ready to go. And I'm like, 5 minutes wouldn't have made me feel that good, buddy. But hey, when you're just dog tired, sleeping on an airplane. People always say they can't sleep on an airplane. You ain't been tired enough because a radio tour.
Yeah.
I slept on a lot of airplanes. Hell, still do when I'm hungover.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
No
that
doubt.
and I talk to the guys, and they know you're running and gunning, and it's probably a little bit like you're the rookie on their show. That you got to get in and put the work in at training camp and get the hard years established, and then and hell, they talk about you even if you're there or not. You're going to be in the conversation anyway. They're going to be ragging on you or talking
Right.
something on you anyway.
Right. Oh yeah.
So, but I can
yeah,
imagine
it's
that
going
hour
good
and a
other
half.
than that, man.
I was gonna say that hour and a half drive into town. That's got to be a game changer too, since you can get it from the house or to and from.
Well, that's the thing, man. I'm gonna start doing more and more from the house, and I was thinking about it today, as a matter of fact, because I was actually driving into the studio today, and there was a bad wreck on I-30 where I get on the interstate, and so I was like right on time. I wouldn't have been super early, but I wouldn't have been late. And I found out what it was, and it was a gas truck had spilled all over the road. So I texted him. I'm like, I'm 25 minutes from the house, and I'm about 35 from there, and I can be on the air a lot quicker if I just go back home.
Right.
Otherwise, y'all might catch me in the 9 o'clock hour. So
Right.
So I came back home, and I was thinking to myself as I was driving back home from where I had gotten to, I literally got a biscuit from McDonald's and drove 25 minutes back home. That was
Crack of dawn.
In the dark. I mean, it was that early. And I'm like, I could have just slept that extra hour or whatever. So anyway, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it's a 45-minute drive this way and a 50-minute drive this way, whatever, 50 each way. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, but it's actually, when you look at it, it's like a 3-hour difference total when you think I got to get up an extra hour. So I'm like, staying home literally saves me like 3 hours worth of doing stuff.
Right.
It's only an hour extra bit of sleep, but driving all the way there, dealing with traffic, driving all the way back, I mean, like, that's 3 more hours I can be productive, one of which is sleeping, and 2 at the house getting things accomplished, not having to drive back and forth.
Right.
And back. So they've been really cool about it, and they're, I think I'll do more and more and more from home, and technology is such that, I mean, you can do it from anywhere. It's pretty amazing. I did it on the bus too, last week, and so that'll help. And they've been lenient and understanding of my schedule, and
Right.
they don't want me to burn myself out any more than we do,
Yeah.
So
And it's just chaos over there anyway.
yeah, I mean, we're right in the middle of ball, and everything, and as you know, and matter of fact, South's got his second T-ball game tonight. Did I send you the picture of his first at bat or the video?
He was a trip at practice the other week. I can tell you that.
First at bat of his career, hit him a seed right between first and second base.
Nice.
Pitching to him, not off the tee, so that was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, and he's pretty jacked up about tonight. So
that's funny. He's so vocal. It's so funny watching him at practice. He's talking to everybody and doing and. I mean, I could just imagine him at the game. He's got to be
yelling at the other kids, even though they're better than him and they're doing what they're supposed to, and he's going, Shaw, you got to be over there, Shaw. It's his little buddy's name, or Beckett, go over there, quit playing in the dirt. Just like, and we're like, you just mind your own business.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Such a goofball.
Yeah, well, that's good. So that game's today?
That game's today. It doesn't look like we're going to get rained out. It hadn't rained. It looks rainy, but it hadn't rained, so we'll see. But
yeah, so this will come out tomorrow. Hopefully everybody will be Friday when you get this. A little late this week. Like I said earlier, we had to go up to Chattanooga this past Tuesday and did a show for St. Jude and the radio station there and had a big old time. I think I heard they raised a lot of money for St. Jude, so that's always good. Beautiful big theater up there. It was Lee Bryce and Chase Rice and Priscilla Block and Kenny Lovelace, songwriter.
Kelly,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Kelly Lovelace, songwriter. And I'd never met him before. Great guy. And they've been doing it for a long time. You said that's about your fourth time you've done that event?
It was my third or fourth to do it. Kelly's from Chattanooga. And for those out there who don't recognize that name, Google it. You'd be – I mean, I think he's written 17 number ones, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of which with and for Brad Paisley. So, like I'm Still a Guy, just for example.
Yeah. I think Water.
A ton of them.
Yeah.
I would guess maybe he's almost like Paisley's Dean Dillon, if you will.
Right.
Like that, you know what I mean? He's
Right.
written a lot of Paisley stuff with Paisley. And
Right.
he, another song that he wrote that wasn't Paisley was Running Out of Moonlight for Hauser, and I mean there's just been a lot of them, but yeah, it was fun to catch up with Lee. Lee's in the same boat as me. He's got 3 kids, and he's like, man, I got to go on the road to get rest. And I mean, they're playing ball and doing dance and the whole, the same kind of, they're in the same part of their stretch of life as Kate and I are, and so it was good to catch up with him. As everybody knows, we're really good buddies, and good to catch up with Chase, who will be at our St. Jude golf tournament. And we're actually, for those in the Little Rock area, our St. Jude benefit, this is our second annual, and we've already gone over the $500,000 mark, which is amazing. And this year there's going to be more artists and celebrities be there, and so we do a benefit concert the night before the golf tournament. It's kind of a 2-day deal, and last year it was just me acoustic. Well, this year we're going to do a guitar pull or an in the round. Chase is going to be on it. Myself and a couple of other artists, and so that'll be fun. So we'll get Chase on to talk about that. In addition to, I don't know if you did name the names that were going to become upcoming.
I
believe
didn't,
on the podcast, or you didn't?
I didn't, but I talked to Chase's tour manager, John Lassard's a good buddy of mine. I told him we'd make it happen right around the golf tournament. I think Chase has got a new album, maybe just in the can or something like that. But he and I were going to get together on time for that.
Yeah.
But no, upcoming, I have not announced, but since we're there, we can. We've got Craig Campbell coming up in a couple of weeks, and our old buddy Tracy Lawrence making his second appearance on the Justin Moore podcast.
Yeah, he was just actually in Little Rock with Alabama. I wanted to go, but it was the day that we got home or the day after we got home from our ski trip, and I was just beat. But But yeah, be good to talk to those two guys. We've got them on the books, and then Chase we'll talk to prior to the golf tournament, which is May 1st and May 2nd for those listening on the Buzz 2 or those listening that are just in the Little Rock, Central Arkansas area. It's going to be at the Jack Stevens Center in Little Rock, which is the arena where Little Rock Trojan basketball is played. So. But anyway, that was it. That show was fun though. It was good and raised a lot of money, as you pointed out, JR, for St. Jude. So, and we're kind of easing back in. We got a show, as you guys listen to this, a show tomorrow night in I believe I was told to say Lafayette. Is it Lafayette, Alabama?
Yep. Lafayette, Alabama.
Not Lafayette.
No, Lafayette.
Like Louisiana. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's out in Lee County, I think. That's over near the Auburn Opelika area, kind of on the Georgia line, Columbus, Georgia area over that way. Should be really fun, man. I talked with some people in the area, the promoter and those guys, a couple of days ago. They're all excited. We're looking, fingers crossed, for good weather since this storm just passed through last night. Hopefully we'll have a couple good days of weather and it'll be a good show. Got our buddy Dylan Carmichael playing on the show with us, so that'll be good to see him as always. The old wild man CJ is out on the road with him now, so we'll get to see the old
full time.
Yeah, he's TMing for Dylan.
No kidding.
Doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll see CJ. He'll be there.
Nice.
In that bunch, so that'll be fun. And yeah, I guess we'll mention that too. Hope everybody's out there safe in the listening areas from the storm that went through South and Midwest last night. I guess I know it did damage Texas to Louisiana and Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. I'm not sure where all, but I hope everybody's safe out there.
Yeah, we were lucky, as I know you guys were.
Yeah.
But there was actually a school up in northwest Arkansas, Springdale, which is just outside of Fayetteville, that their gym was demolished and some other, I guess, buildings on their school campus. But luckily, it was at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so no students or faculty were there, thankfully.
Right.
But it was an F3. It was an F3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a decent size tornado.
Oh, it can do some damage. Any tornado do some dang damage.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I know. I didn't see a whole lot of places I recognize. I know I think up in the Birmingham area they had some tornadoes. I know I was watching on the news and it was near us, but it said we looked like we were going to be okay. Just some heavy storms. And hell, I fell asleep during the whole thing, to be honest with you. But I did see today though that anybody in the Tuscaloosa area, West Alabama, East Mississippi area may know about the Fawnsdale Bar and Grill out in Fawnsdale, Alabama, the big crawfish festival they have out there every year. I saw the bar got pretty beat up out there, so hopefully they'll get it back up and running. Hadn't been there in years, but had a good time back in the day playing the Crawfish Festival, Wayne, and eating a bunch of crawfish and drinking big pitchers of beer out in the middle of nowhere, Alabama on a pretty night. It was good times. So hopefully they'll get up. Yeah, hopefully they'll get it back up and running sooner than later and get back on track. Talking about getting back on track, we've been getting back out on the road a little bit. We've kind of eased into this year. Everybody always asks, y'all back full speed? I'm like, nah, we just kind of eased.
When y'all going on tour?
Yeah.
That's what everybody when y'all going on tour again?
Yeah, I was like, well, kind of always are, kind of. But no, after last year, doing a bunch of shows in a short period of time, we're kind of easing into this year. But it's starting to crank back up. I can feel it. I'm busy on advance calls and whatnot. I know we've done a few shows here and there. One, we got to talk about the George Strait show. I mean, how much fun was that? I mean, that was in Little Rock, where we've seen shows. You grew up going to things in that area and being a George Strait fan, and getting to do a Friday night with George Strait in Little Rock, sold out show. I know I had a blast, and I it was one for the books, no doubt.
Yeah, man, it was one of those bucket list deals. I mean, you and I have done a lot of them together where we go, man, this is awesome. It was just another one of those,
Yeah.
And playing a show. Let me step back. Going to a George Strait show is awesome. But being a part of it, I mean, that just takes it to a whole different level, obviously. And You know, it goes without saying that he's a huge influence of mine, and you know, he's a Mount Rushmore guy. I mean, you know, he's a king. But you know, to have the opportunity not only to play a show with him anywhere, but when you know, throw on top of it that it was in my backyard, as you pointed out, where I went and seen concerts, including his, growing up. It was just awesome, and to have, you know, my family there, and, you know, my wife and my parents and buddies, and the crowd was awesome. Obviously, it's a sold-out crowd. He don't really go anywhere without doing that. It was special. It really was, and something I'll never forget. You know, that likely will not happen again, but thankful that it did this time. It was really, really neat, and his camp was great, and yeah, he was awesome as per usual. I mean, he was just as good as he was 20 years ago when I seen him, and in the same building.
Just mesmerizing.
And, yeah, he is. I mean, he's just like, he's just, I don't even know what else to say. I mean, you know, all you guys out there who are George Strait fans, as big of ones as me, which is probably everyone, put yourself in my position. I grew up in a town of 300 people and love George Strait, and one of the, you know every song he's ever put out and sing all of them, and then be on stage, you know, on the same stage as him. I mean, it's just, it really just, there are no words to describe it. I mean, it's just, I'm as taken aback by it as you can imagine you would be. I mean, really,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
it's crazy.
It's not real. It's like there's a cup holder here for Justin and a cup holder here for George Strait. It's like,
yeah,
wow,
just
we got
amazing,
side by
man.
side cup holders. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, our buses parked right beside each other. I mean, it's just, it's insane. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
he does 7 shows a year. Well, it made
Yeah.
sense. I mean, it made
Yeah.
sense. And it turned out great. Yeah, I know. I can remember one point in the show you were giving some love to Arkansas as you always do everywhere. It was a proud moment, and Derek lit the whole place up in red. And man, I could see your parents over here, and your wife, Sharice, and them are behind me, and your friends are here, and you're up there rocking. It was very cool. And yeah, his camp was super awesome. Love to do it again sometime, but they don't do it very often. I mean, he don't do many shows. Hey, I tell you, you got to tell the coolest moment of the day for us is I told you that he was going to be getting off his bus at some point next little bit going to sound check. So if you wanted to, watch him go to work, take a look, and you said, man, it was the coolest thing ever. He got off, he got on the golf cart, and the only thing he took the sound check with him.
yeah.
When did him and his tour manager got on the golf cart?
It was his one of his two, or maybe both of his bodyguards, security guards, who are
ex-Marines from Texas. Yeah, great guys.
Yeah, so that's cool in itself,
right? And they look like
know,
ex-Marine bodyguard type, security
bearded
people.
up, and Anyway, that's really neat in itself. And so you had told me, to your point, hey, he's going to sound check at this time. He and his wife just got here from the airport. It'd probably be 10, 15 minutes, whatever. So, like a complete nerd, I'm just sitting in my bus looking out the window in my recliner going, all right, this is going to be super nerdy, but I'm going to take a video of him walking off the bus and getting on this golf cart. So, 10 minutes later, his tour manager walks to his bus door, opens it up, off comes Strait, and I've got my camera going. And he probably walked, what'd you say, 10 feet, 10 steps, maybe?
Off the bus to the golf cart.
To the golf cart. I bet it took him 3 minutes.
No hurry.
And everybody knows, like, that George Strait swag walk.
Oh my God!
To the stage and around the stage. Y'all, anybody who knows George Strait knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just dripping country swag.
Yeah. Well, he does that in street clothes. Like he's wearing this big hoodie and like jeans, I guess, and look like golf shoes or something.
Yeah, ball cap.
Yeah, ball cap. But just look badass.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's been doing that.
And he's holding a book. I noticed he's holding a book in his hand, and I'm like, I wonder what that book is.
Yeah.
It just out of curiosity.
And is he gonna read it at sound check?
Yeah, and I'm like, why is he taking? And then I'm thinking, why is he taking a book to sound check? Because you're just gonna ride right there, get off, sing a couple songs, get back on the golf cart, and go back. Like, why wouldn't you just lay it on a table in your bus and just continue reading when you get back? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
It made no sense to me, but I'm like, I want to learn from the master.
Yeah, I will have a book next sound check.
yeah, exactly. Even
JR,
if
give
it's
me a
just
book
carrying
for
it
me.
around. So then I zoom in and I realize that the book he has is freaking a Merle Haggard book. It's just Merle Haggard's face on the front of it.
It's
and I'm like,
Haggard biography.
I'm like, he is the damn coolest MFer I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is the most. I mean, it couldn't have been any more awesome.
Yeah,
so
what
I'm
else is
just
cooler?
like,
There's nothing cooler than
like,
that.
did he go up there and read a Merle quote out of the book, like as if it's the Bible to his crew? Or like, is that why he took it to sound check?
Yeah.
Or like, or did he tell his band? I don't know. I'm so curious, but
Or does it have
or
special
did he
powers?
just carry?
He just
Or
holds
did
it.
he just carry it in you know, in the off chance that somebody like me's looking who needs to know you need to read this book? I don't know. Maybe he's godlike in that sense and knows that I need to know that. I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
right. I mean, you let your mind wander. It could be anything, and it could be a fake. Is it a fake book? What's inside the book? We don't know. Is it? Who knows?
I
Who
mean,
knows?
just-
I'm like you. I think he did that. I think it's just so cool that he just knew to do it. Maybe he didn't even know why he was doing it. He just knew it was the coolest thing on earth to do. Was if anybody happened to see George Strait going to sound check carrying a Merle Haggard book, it would go down as the coolest thing ever happened.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing that's ever happened backstage. I'm
Ever.
just telling you right
Ever.
now.
Backstage
ever. It's the coolest
sucks
thing.
always. Nothing cool about backstage ever.
Yeah,
that was
it ain't.
it.
Yeah,
I mean-
it ain't drugs and women and parties. No, that right there was
That.
the coolest singular moment in my 15-year career.
Prior to that, maybe watching Tracy Lawrence strut that ass to his bus after a show, talking to
Or
some folks, shake a
before,
hand,
or going to catering,
yeah,
or
just
really doing anything
going
in
to
general.
the gym or anything. Tracy's
Yeah.
got that swag too, no doubt. But George, you can see where Tracy learned from.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
mean, it's
anyways,
just-
it was great. And yeah, we did. We got to see your folks. That was good. Got to go have dinner with them one night while I was in town.
Yeah,
That's always fun
that's
for me. Got to hang out with the kiddos. It was a good time in Arkansas. Sharice got to come to the show, which she doesn't come to many shows a year, so she
Ain't Trixie.
Ain't Trixie came. She really enjoyed it.
Yeah, South still calls her Ain't Trixie. I know he can say Sharice.
Yeah, he just thinks it's cute now.
I think he just does it on purpose. You know, JR and Sharice are a little bit like me. Kate's a early, she's early riser. Obviously, I do it now, but it's not because I want to.
Yeah.
I'd rather sleep till noon, and I give you the 4 a.m. on the other end, not getting up going to bed at. But anyway.
Yeah, I worked the other 9 to 5.
Yeah. So he'd ask me, and a couple mornings y'all were there, he goes, "Where's Aunt Trixie?" And I'm like, "Well, she's in bed, bud." He goes, "I'm gonna go wake her up." I'm like, "No, you're not gonna go wake her up." "Where's JR?" I said, "He's with Aunt Trixie. I mean Sharice. You just stop."
He's so
Yeah,
cute. One morning he did come there, and I'm sitting in bed. I got my computer. "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, just doing some emails, buddy. Doing some work." And then come play. I was like, "Why don't you come in here for a minute and come play?" "Nah, you'll come in here," or something like that, and then stormed off the playroom. Like he knowing I'm gonna hurry up and get wrapped. All right, here I come. We had fun. It was great to see them.
much.
Yeah, and good to see all your family, all your buddies. It was a good time. Got to see Joey, Pete, Cody. Everybody was in town from the management company. It was good to see everybody. And then that was it. Then we took the little break till this one. And then coming up, like you said, we've got Lafayette coming up next weekend. We've got Hiawassee, Georgia. You mind the North Georgia East Tennessee area. That's a beautiful lake.
Beautiful
that place
area.
Is on.
Yeah.
Really cool. I don't know if I'll be swimming this year. Last time we were there, me and some of your girls, we went swimming while we were there.
Yeah,
it was
we did.
It was good. And then I actually talked with the promoter today. We've got our tour starting the 22nd of this month in Pensacola, Florida is the first night of the Country On It tour with Granger Smith. And the Reeves brothers will be accompanying us on that show. And then Huntington, West Virginia, Bensalem, PA. Then we're all over the place again. Then we're rocking full steady again. So y'all go to justinmooremusic.com and check out all those tour dates, get you some tickets. Excuse me. All the links to the podcast will be on there. Any Justin's music, all that fun stuff you can get. And while we're talking about music, I know I've got a bunch of pictures have came in from listeners and some of your fans that got their new vinyl, as did I. So if you hadn't yet, so I know a few people even on one of the fan sites was asking, where'd you get that? Well, it's a Walmart deal, so you got to order it. You can probably
I haven't
get it there
seen
now.
one.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome.
And the vinyl looks so cool. Look at this.
Does it good?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I still got to get me a turntable.
Dude, and it's cool.
Oh, wow, that's cool because
and
it's
you can
all
see-
red.
Yeah, and it's see-through.
That's awesome.
It's not just solid.
That's
Yeah,
very
it's cool.
cool.
Yeah, Roger had a good idea about a turntable of the day for you. He and I were talking about because he just got him a new one, so I'll we'll work on that. But anyway, so yeah, y'all go to justinmooremusic.com. You got all the tour dates. Get the new greatest hits vinyl while it's hot on the presses. I know the new single is rocking on along the charts in the mid-20s now, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know what to attribute that to. I was telling somebody the other day, our record label reps that were out with us, Lauren and Palmer.
Brooke.
Excuse me. But it's one of the fastest rising songs of our career. I have no idea why, but I'm not going to complain about it. Thank you, Country Radio. It's awesome. Mid-20s already and feels really, really good and really strong. And hopefully it'll be our 11th number one. You never want to say that too early, but, man, it feels so good right now. So hopefully that keeps clicking along. Speaking of album and newer music, that new the single that's out we're talking about right now is the first single from a new album. And as a matter of fact, the trip, we weren't with you last week because we were on a ski trip for spring break, and we'll get into that as well. But the day or two after we got home, I completely finished up all the rest of the vocals for that new album. So we're just waiting on that to get mixed now, and then we'll get it mastered. And so we're pretty much done. We've got to get one more vocal for a duet that'll be on there. And so can't tell you who's going to be on that duet just yet because I don't know 100%, but I do have an idea of somebody I would like to get on there. So those wheels are in motion. As of yesterday, you and I haven't talked about that, but
Yep.
You know who I'm talking about. And so
Yep.
We'll see if that comes to fruition. If not, it'll be somebody else. But you don't even know which somebody I'm talking about right now. So that's neither
Somebody
here nor
else
there.
will.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited about it. And
Yeah. I know everybody's got to be excited. New music. That's why I always love
Yeah.
because the faster the song goes, and we get there, then we get some more new music after.
yeah,
know,
two
after that.
duets on this album.
Yep.
So we've
And
already
I know
talked
we've
about
teased
one of them.
forever. I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
So yeah, good
But yeah.
stuff. Good new music coming
Yeah.
out. We'll keep everybody updated on that as it goes along.
For sure.
You want to take a quick break, real quick, Justin? We'll come back.
Yeah, I need a
and,
potty.
Get it going on. Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, go to justinmooremusic.com. Get all the info for our shows coming up. Get you some tickets now. Tell a friend, let them know. Also, want to say thank you, as always, for listening to this podcast, subscribing, liking, clicking, hitting the notification button, all that fun stuff you do to help this thing keep going. Leave us a little review, 5 stars, all that fun stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Spread the word. JR the Handler, Justin Colmore on Instagram and Twitter. # Justin Moore Podcast. We'll be right back.
Today's episode is sponsored by Bobcat. If you're like me, you don't like to sit still for very long. You look out the window and see possibilities. What if I planted a row of trees over there? It'd be nice to clear that trail in those woods. That's why Bobcat equipment is so great. Its compact size, powerful performance, and big-time versatility will keep up with all your ideas for your property. With a few attachments or implements and a Bobcat tractor, for example, you can do big things in small amounts of time. It's perfect for me when I have a break from touring or recording. Take a look at tractors, utility vehicles, mowers, and more at bobcat.com or pay a visit to your local dealer. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife, Kate, has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas. It's Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer, all that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at shopthislittlepiggyAR, and Instagram, you can find us at shopthislittlepiggyAR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy, and see what we got to offer. Shopthislittlepiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour Jigger and take this 8-second ride with us.
Hey, gang. As y'all have heard, the Justin Moore Podcast has recently teamed up with Wrangler. Wrangler has been an icon in authentic American style around the world for more than 70 years. With a rich legacy rooted in the American West, Wrangler commits to offering unmatched quality and timeless design. As y'all have heard me and Justin talk about on here, George Strait and Alan Jackson, they're Wranglers. We wear Wranglers too. Its collections are also for men and women, children, to look and feel great, inspiring those who wear them to be strong and ready for life every day. Wrangler is available in retail stores worldwide, including brand flagship stores in Denver and Dallas, department stores, mass market retailers, specialty shops, Western outfitters, and online. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. And you know you've heard it here, and you've seen it on stage, the Justin Moore Podcast. Dang glad to be partnered up with Wrangler because we're big fans and have been for a long, long time. Can't go wrong with a nice pair of Wranglers, y'all. I wear the Wrangler Retro. Justin wears the black one some. It's my go-to. I get mine at Academy. So if you're around an Academy or just about anywhere, you can get you a pair of Wranglers, whether you want to look like George Strait, or you want to look like JM, or you want to look like me. You can get you some Wranglers, and you can do that. Whether you're in North California or South Alabama or Montana, Texas, Ohio, Wyoming, wherever, a pair of Wranglers will get the job done. Long live cowboys and plowboys. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Justin Moore Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in with us today. I know before we took the break, Just, you had mentioned a little bit about the ski trip. I know we've talked about it a few times on here over the last, 4 or 5 years. You've really gotten into the bug of the snow bunny bug, wanting to go skiing and stuff. And I guess you've got the whole clan and the whole town of Poen, apparently, because when I left your house coming south after the George Strait show, y'all were starting spring break, and I remember texting you, everybody, y'all must be the only people that went north because I saw so many Arkansas plates going south to the beach. Yeah. But you guys went north to Colorado with 4 or 5 other couple friends and all their kids and all that fun stuff. Yeah,
there were a lot of our buddies that went to the beach. I'd say half and half. A lot of our friends do go skiing for spring break, but obviously a ton of them go to the beach as well, down to the from your area over to, I guess, my area, somewhere in there.
Panama City, all the way down that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we went to Breckenridge. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background, as JR put it, I've kind of been bitten with the bug as far as skiing goes. I hate cold weather. I love the beach. Love the beach. It's like my favorite place on earth. I'm not even really a mountain guy. I know, JR, you like the mountains. I'm not a big fan. Everybody thinks they're beautiful. I'm like, it's whatever. I'm indifferent. I don't really.
You're like, looks like I don't think of it.
Yeah, I just don't think of it as beauty. I mean, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's fine. You know, just whatever to me though. And so, like the beach is beautiful to me in warm weather.
Right.
But
You're like that's a lot of walking up down them hills. That don't look safe.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But man, probably it was 10 or 11 years ago. It was when Ella was a baby, and I think she was the only child we had at the time. Either that or Kennedy had literally just been born, and she's 10 going on 11. We were playing somewhere outside of Denver, or we might have been playing in Denver, playing a show, and we had 4 days off, and then another show somewhere near there or outside of there. And so my wife had always wanted to go skiing, and I was always opposed to it because I thought, just what I just said, I don't care for the mountains. I hate cold weather. I'd never skied in my life. We didn't grow up doing it. And so she talked me into it, and we went to Vail. Those that know skiing know Vail is one of the best places, in particular in the country, if not outside of, to ski there is. It's ridiculously expensive, though, I'll warn you. We've not been back to Vail, but we both fell in love with it, and we thought, this is awesome. We need to do this again. It was really neat. It was just a completely different vacation than we had ever done, and I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it. Well, a few years later, we hadn't gone back, and we decided, man, this would be really cool for our kids to grow up doing, because we didn't learn until we were in our 30s, basically. And so I guess maybe 6-7 years ago, we started going with a group of friends of ours who have kids the same ages and that kind of stuff. And we started going to Steamboat just kind of randomly. And we fell in love with it. And we've gone to Steamboat every year since then. Our kids, our 3 daughters snowboard and south skis, because I ski and Kate snowboards. So she helps them. I can help him. But they go to ski school and do that kind of stuff. But it's cool now, you know, since we've been doing it for so long. Like Ella and Kennedy, who are 12 and 10, my 2 oldest daughters, they can go up the mountain and do blacks with me now. You know, like blues and blue. Ella's better than I am.
Wow.
I mean, you know, which as a kid, you don't have that necessarily that fear of this is going to hurt in the morning kind of deal. So you don't really take it as easy as us older folks do. You know, I kind of just take my time, and I'm not trying to do no tricks. And she's doing 360s and jumping off the sides of stuff and
just fearless.
Doing it backwards and, you know, all that. But yeah, she's faster than I am. But the point is, because they've taken lessons for all these years from these professionals, you know, they can go up the mountain with me. I have no worry about them. You know, I try to stay where I can keep them in my line of sight, but they know how to look at the signs. And before, you know, I'll say, hey, we're going down to this lift, and they know how to get there. We'll meet you there. And, you know, I may be 2 minutes behind them or something.
Right.
Which is why we started them doing those lessons early on. And so, yeah, man.
It's like swimming. The sooner you get it done, better you're going to be in the long run. Yeah,
and it's you know, I kind of look at it like golf, man. It'd be a good business tool for them to use down the road. Yep. You know, I mean, potentially.
Right.
It's just a good skill to have if you.
Yeah, it's good exercise.
You know, it's good exercise. It's something different. You know, we don't get any snow here like you guys in Alabama. I mean. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that we get much of. So, you know, once or twice a year is kind of fun for us to go do that. And it's a totally different vacation. It's not necessarily relaxing. It's not I mean, it wears you out.
Yep.
But but it's a lot of fun, and you know me, anytime I can get exercise, that's good because I'm not the most keen.
That's
on
the
it.
only way it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's if I'm playing basketball or doing something like that.
Right.
I ain't just gonna go to a gym.
Right.
But no, this particular year we went to Breckenridge, which is the first time we've gone. Breckenridge is a cool little town. Saw the crepe place. Never got to get a crepe because every time we went by there was like an hour and a half line.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Yep. I imagine it's so good.
And with all
They're
the kids
so
and
good.
stuff, we just didn't have time to stand in line in 20-degree temperatures.
Yeah, we would have to. We got there. We were there in mud season, so it wasn't near that bad. But it was still,
Right.
you know, a ways. You just wait. We just kind of made a, you know, hour or two trip out of the deal. But
Yeah.
that was fun. That was my only
It's a
suggestion.
cool little
was-
town, though.
Yeah, it's neat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's real neat.
The only
Kinda looks
complaint
like
we
it-
had.
It almost
Was-
looks like some from. It looks European almost, or something.
Yeah, I don't know how it was during that time of year. Obviously, we went one of the peak weeks of the season, but the
Right.
parking was just very, very difficult down
Yeah,
there.
no, we went in the off season.
Yeah. So, but we loved it. Brad, the skiing was really good, but we have determined because we've gone 2 different places this year, neither of which were Steamboat. Steamboat's our place.
You just like the boat, yeah.
That's our place.
You know, that's my buddy Brad. That's why he
Mm-hmm.
lives there. He had option and he could go wherever, and he tried some other places. He's like, I just like the boat, man. Everything I
Yep,
need.
that's our. We know that we know the spots we love. We know where to stay.
Yeah.
We know the mountain. We the lifts and the gondola and everything like that are the easily the nicest ones we've been to, and I'm sure they're nicer. Where you rent skis and all that, super easy to navigate. Where the kids go to school, drop off, pick up, easiest to navigate. So I don't know if anybody out there is looking for their place, but I would suggest giving Steamboat a run at it. It's really great with kids.
Right.
And so
That's good to know. I know.
But
Actually,
anyway,
that's good to know. I know. Actually, Grice had mentioned that his youngest is big enough now where he thinks that's what they want to do next year: is start taking them skiing. And
Yeah.
he was asking a few different places. I said, you need to talk to more. He's been to a
that's
couple
the
of
best place for because I know they have little ones too.
them. Yeah.
The other great thing about Steamboat as opposed to, say, Breckenridge, for example, you can fly directly into Steamboat.
Right.
So for us, instead of having to fly to Denver, which we did this time, and take a shuttle for over 2 hours with the kids, and we had a bunch of kids with us.
Yeah.
That's kind of a pain. Plus, the shuttle was like $1,000 each way. So
Good.
I mean, it was split up between a lot of people, but that's a big expense. I mean,
Right.
So if you can fly into Steamboat, you're like, I don't know, less than a half hour from the place you're staying, or
Right.
whatever.
Well, Grice, you better listen to this because I'm not going to tell you.
So
I'm
yeah,
gonna check
Grice,
see
go
if
to
you're listening
Steamboat,
the
give it a
podcast.
whirl.
Yeah, and because he had talked about even trying to take his on Mardi Gras next year because Mardi Gras is crazy down here, and he's thinking we might just get out of town and go up there.
That'd be a good time to go.
Yeah,
They'd
ain't
have
gonna be
good
as crazy.
snow and all that too.
Well,
so,
I-
but it was,
I know-
we
you
had
know,
a
I've
good
been-
time. It was fun.
I've been reluctant to get back on the skis, but since you're so gung ho on it, don't look like you're gonna give up. I was hoping you just give up this charade at some point. Look like this is part of our lives now. If the world doesn't catch back on fire this year, maybe I'll go with y'all next year, and me and Sharice will dust the. But Sharice has been to ski school. She probably can still do it.
Yeah.
I
I think you'd like it.
I did. I did. Me and when Brad first moved out there and stuff, we went all the time. We all learned at the same time, kind of. And then at some point, I just got tired of it. It was just, I was like, man, I'm tired. I'm just going to go sit in the lodge and drink and then eat and watch games. And then from that point, because we always went at the end of January. And so, football's on and stuff. So I was like, man, y'all ski. I'm just going to hang out. It's too much work. Because
It is. I mean, it is a lot of work. It really, and you wear yourself out. But like we go and, my buddy that we go together, Ross, which and he's a really good skier. But I mean, there's different bars and restaurants and stuff at the top of the mountain. So we'll do a few runs, go have a beer, then do a few more runs down to this bar and have a beer, and then we'll ski up to this one and do the, we don't really try to kill ourselves.
Right.
It's more of just kind of a hanging out. And I like it too because you're together with people, and when you stop, you can have conversation. But even though you're skiing right alongside somebody or whatever, you're not having a conversation. You can put your earbud in, listen to a podcast, listen to a radio show, music, whatever. So
Right.
you're in this unbelievably beautiful setting, you know,
Yep.
and you can see for miles and probably hundreds of miles, you know, and you know, you might be able to do something else other than drink if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And just kind of zone out.
You are in Colorado, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember they had like a. I remember they had like a somebody. I don't know if it was the Range or this is 20 years ago. They had like a keg just strategically placed at one turn on one of the mountains. They just had a keg put by a tree. And you could stop and fill up a cup with
That's
get
awesome.
a beer and keep going. You know, that was a long time ago though. But it was at one of those, the Snowbird maybe.
I don't know.
But that's
a new one for me.
Maybe that's not even. No, that's in Utah. That was when he lived in Utah. That's in Park City. Yeah.
I've heard Park City good things about it too. But yeah, we had a great time, man. It was a lot of fun, and so that was kind of our last hurrah until we go on vacation in the summer. So now it's just time to get to work.
School. I know girls got back in school. I know Ken had a test the other day. She rocked it. Knew she would. And then ball. Y'all are balling it up. Everybody's playing ball.
Yeah, we got a couple months left of school. Couple months, you know, 2.5 months of softball, and then it'll be summertime, man. And we're going to be busy during the summer, but we also have quite a bit of time off, which is be good. I mean, quite a bit. I know we have 3-4 weeks off in the summer.
Nice.
You know, scattered about.
Right.
So
yeah,
we
need to
beach
plan
time
some,
in.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need to plan some fishing trips. We got all kinds of stuff we always say we need to do. This is going to be the year hopefully we get back on track with everything. Yeah, I know. I had a couple of I had some fan stuff I wanted to do on our shout-outs and listener mail stuff today. I figured we'd jump into that real quick before we get to a few other things before we get out of here. The first one I got to give a big shout-out. This is from Dakota Scott. She hit me up. She said her dad is a listener of the podcast, and he is retiring from 24 years of service from the United States Air Force, and she wanted to do something special because he is her hero, and the reason is she is joining the military and can't do it without him, and she loves him so much. His name is Christopher Scott, so we want to give a big shout-out to Mr. Christopher Scott on retiring from 24 years in the U.S. Air Force, and congrats on Dakota for making the choice and going to serve. Yeah,
well, first and foremost, thank you to that was it a guy or girl?
It's Dakota, and she is
she. Okay. Well, thank you, Dakota, for reaching out.
I'm thinking so.
Or he, whichever. Thank you nonetheless for reaching out on behalf of your dad and Mr. Scott, man. Congrats on your well-deserved retirement. I hope it's wonderful, and thank you for listening to this podcast and being a fan. But much more importantly, thank you so much for your service. I mean, we couldn't do this kind of thing or go out and tour, go ski. Couldn't do anything without guys like you. So God bless you and thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. And Dakota is a sir. Sorry, buddy. Your picture is you got your girlfriend in your picture, so I just glanced at that and thought it was was that. So sorry, buddy. But yeah, good luck with that. Thank you for your service to the Scott family, all of y'all. It's a family affair when someone serves. So thank y'all for that.
No doubt.
I had a cool one here today, a couple days ago, Just. Hey, JR, as a mail carrier in upstate New York, I just want to say I absolutely love the podcast. It truly helps me get through my work shift, I will admit. Though I'm a binge listener, I wait a month or so for catching up because for me 1 to 2 hours isn't enough. I truly love how much I have in common with Justin and Kate. I swear some of the stories are occasions that happen in my life with my husband, but we are opposite, and I have 3 boys and 1 girl, with their being the youngest son to be 1 in May, and my surprise baby. Oh, even had her tubes tied with her youngest boy. And still.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, don't tell me that.
This is Jamie Sinke. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But Jamie, yeah, she said that. So I know how Justin felt about accepting he was a girl dad because I always said I was a happy boy mom and loved it. I just wanted to shoot you a message just to tell you how much I enjoy the podcast and all the new music lately.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
and Jamie sent a picture of her family, beautiful family. So
yeah, I know
you.
I know the feeling. I know she's probably just as tired as I am.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I got one here, Justin. This is from Ashley Shepard. She says, "Hi, my husband is a huge Justin Moore and JR fan and is obsessed with the podcast. We went to the concert in Little Rock last weekend and absolutely loved it. Random question, but my husband really loved Justin's shirt. Any chance you could tell me where I could get it for him for his birthday?"
Yeah, any
Was that a Wrangler
It's-
George Strait you had on?
no, it wasn't a George Strait. It's just the oldest of old school cheap Wrangler
The denim one?
denim shirt. So
Well,
you
she
can
may
get
be
it
talking about the one you wore during George's show, though. Because you wore a denim shirt when you sang, but then you changed to a different
Yeah.
shirt when we watched
Yeah.
George.
If you're talking about the one I wore on stage, which I would assume, but I'll tell you about both of them. I mean, you can get that denim shirt at Academy. You can get it at really any Western store. You can even get it at Tractor Supply. I mean, it's the just old school. I think it's like $35 or something. You know,
Just Wrangler.
Just a Wrangler denim, like
Button
old
up.
farmer type shirt. You
Yeah.
know. If you're talking about the one I wore just watching George, which I was kind of embarrassed because we basically had the same shirt on.
Yeah.
That was a George Strait edition Wrangler shirt, and you can get those I think you can get those at Cavender's and most Western stores. If not, off the Wrangler website, they sell. If you go to like the George Strait, button-up collection. So
Yeah. They've got some really cool ones. I actually was on the Wrangler website earlier today looking at some stuff. So you can go to Wrangler.com.
Yeah.
And look at and a lot of those cool patterned. Just go on the Western snap shirts, and they've got
Yeah.
all kinds of cool patterned shirts.
Yeah, and I've got
like that.
George Strait ones that are, some of them are pearl snaps, some of them are actually buttons. I mean, you can kind of just pick and choose.
Mm-hmm. But they got some really cool ones on there. I picked out a couple winners today, and they actually have something I thought was really cool for T-shirt wise. They have like each state has its own Wrangler T-shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like I can't remember the name.
Never
of
knew
it, but It's
that.
like a local thing. So they had
I mean,
one for Alabama, and it
They
was
got
this-
all kinds of stuff that people probably don't realize. I mean, I'm wearing this
Yeah.
sweatshirt's a Wrangler sweatshirt I'm wearing right now. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah, I ordered cargo.
there's
I
all
ordered
kinds of
camo
stuff.
cargo shorts because I mean that's all I usually ever wear is camo cargos. They have. I ordered me 2 more pair of Wrangler cargos that'll get me through next year.
yeah, I've got like pants that are. I mean, they're almost like. They're Wrangler. They're almost like workout kind of pants, I guess you would say. I don't, but they have a lot more stuff than people realize. So
Right.
go to the Wrangler website and check it out. Most people think it's just, what you think of when you think Wrangler, but they got a lot of cool stuff. I've got hats and T-shirts and sweatshirts, obviously, and. But as far as the first one I was wearing on stage, it's just the old school. I think it's like $30-$40 maybe. I mean, just kind of a work type shirt, if you will.
Right. I was looking through here. Our old buddy Pete Taller hit me up. Got his new piece of slab of vinyl in. Very happy to finally get this one in the mail today. Appreciate you, Pete.
Awesome.
I know you had said I know he had a rough week after we were at Billy Bob's last time. His pops passed away.
Yeah, so sorry.
So want to give a shout out to Pete on that. Prayers to you, brother. Thank you for always listening and chiming in. We appreciate you, no doubt. And yeah, I've got to get my vinyl. I've got it out of the case. I hadn't even put it on the turntable yet, so I'm working on that ASAP. This one is from Jimmy Corley. It said, went to George Strait Justin show in Little Rock. Justin was great. George was great, but he played some weird stuff. Tequila commercial, song and the Tom Petty cover were odd, plus several songs I had never heard before. Was just wondering if it was me, maybe a topic for the podcast. Yeah, I mean, dude, I've got a picture of his set list. I'll put it up there. Man, he had 64 number ones, and
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
just
he
tough.
played maybe 20-something songs, 25. I mean, he played a bunch of songs, and man, you know, he's got to play some of his newer stuff. So the Tequila song, that's his brand Tequila that he wrote a song for, I'm sure, and stuff is when he played that one. So I mean, that's just, you know,
I don't
some of
know.
his
I mean,
newer
I know
things.
it's got. I mean, even for us, I mean, we've got 10 number ones and probably a total of 20, 21, 22 hit songs that have been on the radio, and I know it's difficult for us to put a show together.
Yeah,
so I
could you
can't.
yeah.
I mean, he's got 3-4 times as many hits as us, so I can't even imagine. I mean, he'd have to do 4 nights in a row to play all the hits. I mean, I get, you know, I get what he's saying though. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, it'd be awesome if you could do like you do on your phone and make a playlist and say, okay, please play these 25 songs.
Yeah.
These are my
Yeah.
favorite 20. It's just impossible to do. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
That's just, like you said. That's the way it is. I remember one time I said Alan Jackson played, and I was like, "Man, I can't believe he didn't do Dallas." And I think it was when I was partying. He was like, "Dude, he can't play them all." You know, I was like, "I guess
Yeah.
you're right." But I was the same way. I was like, "I want to hear my obscure things." So for like for that, but Strait, you know. He had 64 number ones. Hell, like you said, there probably another 60 top 20s.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, I mean,
it
he's
would-
got to have 100 hits.
And you know,
I mean,
sometimes you just like that.
or
You know, played
80
in
or
the
whatever.
Petty cover. He was probably a big Petty fan. Probably friends with Petty. So, and you know, Petty
Yeah.
passed away a few years ago. So that's probably where that come from. I would assume.
Maybe I did think that was a little odd personally, but I mean, they did a really good job on it. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. I did think it was a little. It was out of character for him. I guess I would say.
I thought so too. But
I mean,
I've
it
never
wasn't
been-
bad. It was just, it just caught me off guard. I guess.
Right. But yeah, I've not seen him live. So, you know, so I don't know either.
Yeah.
He might do that every time. You know, what if George just whipped out something super obscure, just like something just like they just busted into
could
some
you-
metal. They just break into Pantera or something.
Yeah, golly, that would be
Ace-
crazy.
They go into
Back in black. I hit the sign.
something like that. Or Motorhead, Ace of Spades, the Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
You know. But so anyway, Jimmy, yeah, we're with you on that. I think it was awesome though. I wish he could have played everything he ever, but it was I couldn't ask for anything more. It was great. Let's see what else I got here. That was. Here we go. This is from Frank Salona. Love the podcast, buddy. I'm from Peabody, Massachusetts. We love you guys up here, believe it or not. You bet your ass once I put my 40 in on the farm and I hit the highway home, the first song I blast is Beer Time with the windows down. I ain't too far from Bernie's Beach Bar, so I hope catch y'all soon or see y'all in Fayetteville when the Hogs play Vandy. I will be there watching my buddy Chris play. So that's Frank Salona listening from Peabody, rocking
Nice.
Beer Time
Thank
after
you.
he puts 40 in on the tractor. I hear you, buddy. Thank you for sending that in. And I know I got a bunch more. We'll get to it. I'm going to do some this week, and then we'll do some more on next week's show. Let's see. Here we go. There's a guy for there. Well, I guess we'll get to that too while we're here. And we didn't talk about this beforehand, Justin. So I'm not sure if y'all knew each other or not. But we, you know, unfortunately, per the way the world turns since we've started this podcast, we always have to have a little sad note here and there. And this is from our buddy Brent Bierbauer. Sent this in. Sad week in country music. We lost a good one in Jeff Carson. My favorite Jeff Carson song is Shine On. In my opinion, I felt he shined on both in country music and as serving as a police officer. He did it right in life by shining on with his character, I believe, in my opinion. He sang country music how it was supposed to sound. Did just never play a concert with Jeff or have any memories of Jeff Carson. Just curious. I enjoy listening to your podcast every Thursday on Spotify. Keep up the good work. what you all illustrate always brings an interest to me. It's very humbling to me to see so many country artists support each other during the good times and the times of need. You have one of the best communities out there. So, Just, I know I remember his tunes. Did you know Jeff?
I didn't know Jeff,
That was
and
a
I
little
didn't
right
know
before
that
your time.
I didn't know that he passed away, to be honest with you. But yeah, he was. He had hits in the mid '90s when
Yeah.
when our formidable years of learning to love. Not on Your Love was probably the biggest one that I remember.
That was his number one.
I know he had a few, maybe top 5, top 10 songs. I didn't know he passed, though. I'm sad to hear that.
Just a few days ago. I think we were. It was end of last week. It would have been the day you were flying home from out west.
I was looking that up now to see how he passed. Heart attack. I didn't know that. At
Police
58,
officer.
Man, that's young.
I know. After he got out, the car holding on to something. We're top 10
car.
for him.
Wow, yeah.
And then Real Life was a top 20.
And then I'm just reading here. I guess he was born in Tulsa but grew up in Arkansas.
Yeah, end up working in Branson, becoming a session player in Branson's how he got his start, I believe. Singing demos and working out of Branson, maybe. That's over.
Didn't know that.
Josh Cross territory. I know, man. Yeah, sad when I knew who he was. It's one of those names. Like, oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's terrible.
But I didn't. I never met him.
Sad.
I never got to meet Jeff either. I know. Bummer on that one. Thoughts and prayers out to his family and all the law enforcement officers he worked with and his family, his fraternal family there.
Yeah, that was about the same time as Tracy and Mark Chestnut
and Bird and all them. Yeah, it was
Bird and all them. That whole Singletary, all those guys. Singletary might have been a couple years after that, but
it's like that.
Rhett,
neoclassical country.
Clay, those guys.
Yeah,
that's sad, man. I didn't
lost
know that.
a good one
Hate
there.
that. The other one I was going to bring up outside of country music, and you and I haven't spoke about it, but you make some really random friendships in the business that we're in and what we do for a living, and I guess maybe 4 or 5 years ago now we became friends with Chris Shiflett, who's one of the guitar players for the Foo Fighters, and I forget, was Chris on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay,
we had him on last season.
That's what I thought, and he does an awesome podcast himself. That's how we met originally.
Right.
He does a podcast called Walking the Floor, but he's been the Foo Fighters for
20-something years.
A long, long time. Super talented guy, loves country music, and his podcast and his playing is really influenced by country music. But
yeah, his podcast is called Walking the Floor.
Walking the Floor, yeah. And so he's had a ton of great country artists on. Check that podcast out. If you missed that episode with Chris, you can go back and find it. Chris Shiflett. I don't know where in ours it is, but just hit see all episodes and scroll to you see Chris Shiflett. It would be
mid-season, season 2, somewhere in there.
But anyway, he has a ton of great. He's had Vince Gill. He's had Marty. All these different great. Dwight Yoakam. I was on it. He's really good, but he was great on ours as well. Anyway, we've become friends with him, and you and Sharice actually went to a show of theirs down in, I think it was in New Orleans, a year or two ago or whatever it was.
Yep. Everybody couldn't have been nicer. Whole band hung out with us. A super nice bunch of folks.
Anyway, they're long time. I think they formed that band back in the early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken.
Late 90s.
Late 90s, okay.
Yeah.
The Foo Fighters, and their longtime drummer, Taylor Hawkins, passed away. I guess this was last week.
Yep.
JR maybe,
Yep.
or over the weekend, something like that. They were in
South America. I actually had text with Shiflett about 3 days before he passed. Randomly,
Really?
I had shot a text to Shiflett the day before that or something, just saying, "Hey, buddy, we got our schedule up. Looks like we're going to be in Cali some. Hope you're well, and we'll catch up soon." I certain folks like that you just catch up with every now and then on a quick text, and he'll, we always do. And the next day, yeah, man, I'm out busy with the foods. We're down in South America, this and that. We'll catch up.
Yeah, I think they were in
Brazil's,
Bogota maybe or something. Bogota,
like
Colombia, something like that. But anyway, they were there for their South American leg of their tour, and I guess they had maybe played 3 or 4 nights prior, and were at the hotel, and unfortunately he passed away. Don't know a ton of the details. I know the forensic report is out there, and there was some, a lot found in his system, but it's not for me to speak on. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea his situation, but nonetheless, just tragic. I mean, it just tragic, and you see it so much in our industry. Not necessarily as much in country music, but in music as a whole, entertainment industry as a whole, where it's just sad, man. I mean, JR, you say it all the time, and it's the perfect way of putting it. We have just enough rope to hang ourselves out there, and man, sometimes things get to spinning a little too quickly, and before you know it, it's just too late for somebody. But your heart goes out to his family, first of all. But I said this on the radio. I was asked about it because I'm the musician of our radio show. But I can't imagine, beyond the family aspect, which obviously is the most important. But this is just another attempt to give you guys a glimpse into our world, which I think you guys enjoy. We're as a touring group, we have 20-ish people with us. We're a family too. I mean, we are. It's not, we're friends, we're co-workers, but I mean, we're a family. I mean, we live together as much as we do our true families. And I've had a couple of guys throughout my career, recent to them being with us. They weren't with us any longer, but pass away, and it was very difficult. A couple come to mind. One was early on in the pandemic.
Yeah.
PJ. And then one earlier on in my career, maybe 10 or 12 years ago. And so,
well, and then
I can't imagine.
And then also, our driver, our buddy.
Oh yeah, I didn't even forgive me for not even thinking that. Yeah, we had a co-driver that was this last year. I think it was last year. Was coming to pick me up literally in about 6 hours. Had a massive heart attack and passed away. Rick, great guy. So yeah, that's another one I'd completely forgotten about. But I guess I say that to say this. It's tough for all the folks in the Foo Fighters organization as well. So our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to them also. It just kind of makes me sick to my stomach, especially when I had a birthday yesterday, turned 38, and Taylor was 50. I mean, that ain't far. That's right around the corner, man. That's just, it's so young, and I don't know. It just makes me, it just sickens me.
Yeah,
it really
sad.
does.
And that's what I could tell that day when Shiflett and I texted, everything was hunky-dory. He was in good spirits. They were rocking along, and then now I'm like, I don't even have words. I'm not, what can I say? I'm like you said, I'm just so heartbroken for him. I know it's just, and you're all off somewhere else, and and his kids and his wife, and I mean, just, oh yeah, he'd been with them, I believe, since '97 or '8. He came and filled in for the original guy. They started that band in '95 or '6, and then he came in a year.
See, I thought he was the original guy.
They had somebody at the very beginning, I think. Well, originally Grohl played all the parts on the record, so they didn't, And then I don't know who they had. I can't remember what happened.
I know, man. Yeah, I've been meaning to text Chris, but I kind of wanted to let it breathe before I did. But anyway, I was thinking about it too, man. So think about this, because if I'm not mistaken, just in different interviews I've heard Dave Grohl talk about it, but I mean, him and Taylor, I think, were like best friends.
Yep. They became best buddies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instantly.
And so think about, and be honest with you, I think they're really incredibly talented, but I'm not the biggest Foo Fighters guy on the planet because that's just not my bread and butter. I mean, I definitely respect them, but I don't know much of their it's just not my genre of music. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just don't know a lot of that kind of stuff, but I think Dave Grohl is amazing. And he seems to be, and I don't know the guy from Adam, but he seems to be genuinely a really good dude. Yeah. And it seems like he plays music for the right reasons, and I think he's a good ambassador for music, you know, and professional touring and et cetera. And then obviously getting to know Chris, that's also made me more of a fan. But and so anyway, I was thinking to myself, like, could you imagine Dave, like, he was the drummer for Nirvana, loses Kurt Cobain, his lead singer, then he moves to lead singer, forms his own band, loses his drummer. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's just, you know, he's just got to be going, damn. And
tragic.
So I wonder if they'll go on as the Foo Fighters, or if they'll just, or if they won't. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Not that the music is the important thing right now, because it's not, but I'm just kind of curious how they'll handle that.
Yeah, it's wild.
So,
yeah, and, you know, talking about that, Dave, I've only hung out with him in any length one time after their show in New Orleans. He came back to the Vibe Room where me and Sharice and our other couple friend who are with us, because I'm in the same boat. I love some music in that genre, but that's probably one of my alternative type music's probably one of my least. I have the most knowledge on as far as that genre, because I mean, you know me,
least educated on.
Yeah, right. And I like some of it, but then it's just a little timing for me. It was not right there. No, anyway, I like it, but I'm the same boat. It's not. But Sharice and a couple, most everybody from South Louisiana is huge alternative music fans, so they were super fans, and so we're hanging out. You know me, I'm gonna get one last shot from the Vibe Room before we go back, go somewhere, you know. And then Dave came and hung out, and he talked to Mark, and we did a couple of shots and hung out, and couldn't have been any nicer. And because
super down to earth.
Yeah, because Schiffler introduced me, he and I, right when I got there, and the whole band and everything was super cool with him. And then, but Schiff had to go to Nashville because he was doing an Opry thing solo with his solo thing the next day, so he wasn't there at the end. He was hooking it up north, so. We were just hanging out, and he said, "Oh, what's up?" And, you know. Anyway, couldn't have been more down to earth, super cool.
So did y'all get to hang with Taylor?
No, everybody else went back to the hotel, I guess, or nothing. Like I said, we were trying to stay out of the way, you know. But we said hello and stuff. But we were. It was after the show. We were just trying to stay out of the way, you know. I was gonna have another drink before we figured out. We're letting the building. The new venue there is kind of weird. It's almost one way in, one way out. It's like a big hall. So we were kind of letting everybody clear out before we made our exit, and Dave just popped in and started BSing with us, and we hung out for half an hour, 45 minutes, and couldn't have been nicer. But huge rock star. I mean, the biggest rock band in the world, arguably. I mean, I don't even know who would be as big as them, just good people. But so tragic, you know, stuff like that. And we got to mention too, one of the most tragic families, unfortunately, in all of music, the Williams family.
I didn't even think. Yeah,
Uncle Bo Cephas.
Have you
Mary
talked
Jane,
to Nate
his wife,
about that?
Huh?
You and I haven't even discussed this because I've been gone skiing.
Yeah.
So
I got a text
I didn't
from
think
Nathan
about
the
that.
other
I'm
morning.
sorry I interrupted you. Golly,
No.
man, I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, Mary Jane, Hank Williams Jr., longtime wife, he was still married to Mary Jane. I believe she was 58. Passed away to complications of some surgery last week as well. So just tragic for Hank and the whole Williams family. You know, that's Sam's mother, his youngest son Sam, and that was Katie's mom, his daughter Katie, who just passed away.
In a car accident.
In a car accident a year or two
Tragically,
ago.
I think she was in her late 20s maybe or something.
Yeah, and Sam's a little younger in his
with
mid-20s.
With a little one or two, and
the whole thing. Yeah, so
man.
just tragic. So
terrible.
So Nathan had said I asked him, you know, or we texted a little bit during that day. I said, "Oh man, sorry to hear about what's going on with your boss," and this and that, and he didn't know if they were going to do shows, but it looks like they're going to continue to do some shows as of now. So I know they were in rehearsals this week. So y'all go see Bo Cephas. He needs you. He needs some love from the country music world. So y'all go see Bo Cephas when he goes and plays. I know we're going to go see him in Huntsville in a couple of weeks when we're off. But y'all keep the Williams family in your prayers. I mean, just like I said, just tragic. Just
I think it was some minor surgery.
Yeah.
Too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't doing anything major. I don't even think.
Well, that's it's scary. My dad's in his early to mid 60s, and 2 or 3 days ago had total knee replacement from just over the years, sports and different things, and he just got it replaced. And it crossed my mind. I'm like, man, this is some just minor, nothing surgery, but You just never know. And I mean, Hank's wife is a prime example. I mean, whether it be I don't know what it was with her, but you hear blood clots and
right.
It's just you never know.
Was and just a few weeks ago, that was Big Scott Hall. That's what happened. Same thing was a surgery like that with Scott Hall on his hip stuff. So, yeah, y'all keep all these families in your prayers. They're going to need some healing right now. So, y'all keep in touch with the Foos do if you can help them out in any way. Go see them if they go play, and keep those guys and gals and your prayers. Also, the Williams family, both Cephas and Sam and all their family, Hillary and Holly and all them, everybody. Just you rally around old Bo Cephas. Been a tough one for the man. I wanted to say I got to meet. I went to Cody Johnson concert. This changed the subject totally, but I went to Cody Johnson's show. He was in town the other week.
Did you?
Yep, did. I got to go see Kojo. Ran into a fan of ours who I talked to on the interweb sometime, Daniel Lombard. Saw Dan at the show while I was going to the bathroom. You never know the random people you're going to meet or see. And then I actually saw he and his wife and his whole family at the Floribama a couple days later. But, yeah, Cody played.
So did you get to see Cody?
I did, yeah, I did. He had Ian Munsick opening for him.
You didn't tell him to come on.
I did. I gave him a hard time, and I did talk to Easton. Was direct support for him. Easton Corbin was direct support. I talked to Easton. He said, "Yeah, anytime. Let him know he's down." It was fun catching up with Easton. I think he's turned into us. He was mentioning. He said, "Man, I've been thinking about getting some land down in Florida." I'm like, "Don't talk to me anymore. We'll have you moved." I said, "We like it back home." So it was good catching up with him. I missed Ian's set. Ian Munsick, great young artist. I'm a big fan of. Really wanted to get there, but man, it was so crazy down here that weekend. It was 45 minutes picking me up in the taxi. Traffic was crazy getting to the wharf. By the time I got there, it was right before Easton went on. So I got to miss Ian, but I'm going to catch him next time for sure. It was a great show. Saw Cody, his whole bunch. Everybody told me to tell y'all hello and the band guys. And it was great.
Is that who you got hooked up with?
Yeah, it was Jackson and them. Cody was headlining. So, I just hit him up. I didn't even know they were going to be in town. Oh, yeah, it was a good crowd, real good crowd. I didn't know they were even going to be in town until I got off the road that week. And I said, oh, hell, that's this weekend, Cody and them. So I said, I told Jackson I'm see how the week goes. It's a Monday. I'll see how I feel by Saturday, but planning on being there. And, they had a great show. Easton was great. Had good weather for it.
That's a good lineup.
Yeah, strong. Yeah, Kojo puts on a great show. I had a bunch of friends there. Not that I didn't go with. Josh and Julie came with Sharice and I. So it was just us. And then got to see our buddy Bill Black from the radio station.
Dollar Bill?
Huh?
Dollar Bill?
Bill Black from Kissing.
Oh, yeah. Or not Kissing.
Not Kissing. KSJ.
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't that right? Well, I don't remember. He actually moved in across the street from Grice. So.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm going to go give him the elbow. You want the biggest crawfish? Better spend him more records.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we had a good time there at the show. Yeah, Cody put on a great show. Just had a great time there. Like I said, the weather was good. I was working at the Floribama the next day, so I knew I needed to take it easy. So I was coasting through. I wasn't hammering down like I've been known to. And it was nice. They had an oyster bar set up backstage after the show. Guys shucking oysters, doing different combinations of toppings and stuff, doing right on the grill and stuff for everybody.
Oh, nice.
So I got to catch me a nice little dozen oysters on the way out.
They did that backstage?
Yeah, they just had a guy set up back there. It was 30A Oyster Company, I believe.
What a great idea.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Awesome.
So they had that going on. So I got to eat a little snack before I left. We cabbed home. I had to be at the Floribama the next day at like 11 a.m. To work over there, which was fun. It was fun to see Cody and them. It was also good to get to go to the Floribama. Good thing I did keep it together because it was a hot day out there already and it was bright and sunny. But it was cool. Got to see a couple of local young acts that are really doing well. My buddy Ryan Dyer gave me some swag. Appreciate you, RD. I love
That's
his
a
shirt.
cool shirt.
Yeah, it's him weaved in Alabama.
That's cool.
He's a good young artist. I actually saw we brushed by each other at the Kojo show. He was there with my old buddy Bradley Jordan from Blue Otter and Peachtree Entertainment. I've known Bradley 20 years, one of the best in the business, no doubt. But then Ryan played next day, but he's from Mobile, good young artist there. Keep an eye on him. Brandon Blackburn, saw him that afternoon. He played, got him up and going. Who else did I see there the other day? Anyway, bunch of good folks. The Floribama's always rocking, always good music at the Floribama. Had a good time there. Got some work done, then got Sunday, got done there and started packing because I got on the road Monday to go do the St. Jude show in Chattanooga. So that was this past weekend. I saw Kojo and them, and they had played in Mississippi, and then that show, and then they were heading back to Texas, I believe. So
Cool.
good to catch up with them though. But yeah, I wanted to drop that in there. That was fun. Like I said, it was good to see Easton. We'll definitely hit him up. I thought I had his number, but I couldn't find it yesterday. So I was going to text him and see what his schedule was, get him on the cast sooner than later.
It'd be good to see what he's been up to. What's he doing? Got going, all that good stuff.
Band sounded great as always. Voice was awesome. But yeah, that's about all I got here. I had like I said, use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. Send us some more questions and comments. I know there's some on YouTube and on the Handler page I need to pull off. We'll get to those next week when we chop it up again here soon. I was just looking here. I was going through my pictures. Let me count these songs. This is the George Strait set list. I'm going to read. I'll just read it real quick, and then we'll call it a day. Starts off with a nice little vamp. You always want that while the artist is coming on stage. Heartland, Cheyenne, Here for a Good Time, I Saw God, Check Yes or No, I Got a Car, Wrapped, Easy Come, Easy Go, Oceanfront, Waymore's, I Ain't Her Cowboy, Breaking Hearts, Give It Away, Every Little Honky Tonk, Marina, The Badge, Codigo, Adelea, The King, Amarillo, Chair, Fireman, Run, Come On Joe, I'll Always Remember, Troubadour, Unwound, Fort Worth, Take Me to Texas, You Wreck Me, Cowboy Rides Away.
Yeah, I mean, like I would have liked to have heard Cowboys Like Us. I would have loved to have heard, to that guy, and I forget his name. Forgive me. I would love to Cowboys Like Us. Sure, I would have loved to hear that. I would have loved to have heard like Stranger Coming Home.
Right.
Ace in the Hole. I could go on and on. I would replace in Arkansas, somewhere down in Texas or whatever,
Yeah.
But look, George Strait clearly has done it better than me for many, many more decades, so he don't need advice from me. But
yeah, and just
as a fan, I'm not saying me as an artist. Me as a fan, I would have loved to have heard some, different things too, but it was fantastic. It was.
Yeah, that's a strong set list.
It was fantastic. So.
Yeah. So anyway, well, all right. Well, man, thanks everybody for tuning in this week to this, like I said, season 4, episode 9 of the Justin Moore Podcast. Remember to use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. When you interact with us on social media, JR the Handler, Justin Cole Moore. You can go to jrthehandler.com and check out how I've got all the podcast videos lined up. If you don't want to go to YouTube, you can just go on there and do it. Or justinmooremusic.com. You can find all the info you need for everything Justin Moore, tour dates, merch, the vinyl, the greatest hits vinyl we were talking about earlier, all that fun stuff, new videos, new information that comes along, all that fun stuff. So go there and check that out. Remember to like, rate, subscribe this podcast wherever you're listening to it or watching it. We are on YouTube if you want to watch us. Not much to look at. On my end, anyway, but it might give you something else to do. So you can like, rate, subscribe, hit the notification button on there as well because it all does help the podcast. I want to say thanks again to all of our fine sponsors. for keeping this thing going, and all the country music fans out there that come to the shows every week to make sure Justin has a career and I have a job, which is also a career after 19 years. You know, next year will be 20 years. This year will be 9 years for me and you in a couple months.
Wow.
9 years. Time flies, don't it?
Yeah, man. Time flies.
It's like we were talking the other day. Can you believe that? In a couple years, Ella's going to be driving.
Shut up, JR. Yeah, you know what's funny about you saying that is my mother-in-law sent me a picture for my birthday yesterday of the first time I went down to Houma and visited them, and it was 20 years ago.
Wow.
I was 18, and I showed Kate. I said, look at this. I said, what's sickening to think about is I was 6 years older than Ella here, and my parents let me drive to South Louisiana to stay with a family I'd never met, to hang out with a girl I had only met one time for like 5 days.
Wow.
I was 6 years older than Ella. She goes, you think you're going to let her do that? I go, hell no.
That's what I was just about to say. So in 6 years, Ella has permission to let some boy from Louisiana drive up to Quarter?
Hell no. Our parents were both crazy.
Yeah, everybody's. Oh.
So...
All right, well, thank y'all.
Remember driving 7 hours by myself in my Ford Lightning down to South Louisiana. Crazy.
Hey, when a man knows what he wants with the woman you love.
When a man loves a woman, can't take his mind off nothing else. Yeah, crazy. Made it work, but woo. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for tuning in today. Hopefully y'all have a great week until we see you again next week, and hopefully we'll see you on the road here shortly.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. This episode was brought to you by Bobcat. Check them out at bobcat.com.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels. And the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. Number 42, questionable choices. Direction will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Proverbs 2:11. I can't remember when I decided to take a hit off a cigarette when the other kids were passing it around. And I remember trying to learn how to inhale the smoke by pulling tiny puffs down my throat. I was coughing and sputtering, but not giving up until my lungs would allow me to hold down the whole puff. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, but right then, with those first few pulls off those cigarettes, I made a bad choice that would lead to an addiction to tobacco, a habit I would be afflicted with for 15 years. Almost all of the detrimental things I've ever gotten involved with started with baby steps. Little, seemingly insignificant choices can bloom into full-blown problems unless you make conscious and committed effort to nip them in the bud. Bad choices come with consequences, and so many times I went against the voice that was telling me not to make the choice I did. Lies, fights, taking advantage of weaker person, and many other things I've done that I'm not proud of, all ended with me paying a price in pain, regret, and worst of all, remorse. Not to mention all the other more tangible penalties. Taking the time to consider long-term ramifications can save you a lot of future heartache. Listen to that little voice inside of you. It won't steer you wrong. Choices are like crossroads. Once you pick a path, you have to go down it for a ways before you can turn around and change direction. Let's all make the day count.